Today I'm going to talk about 3 ways that you are preventing yourself, you're shooting yourself in the foot from learning better, retaining more information, and excelling at your school environment or your work environment. If you want to get better grades, if you want to do better at your job, you have to learn efficiently. And unfortunately, there's a few mistakes people make. Number one, the first big mistake they make is that they shoot themselves in the foot by not being open and honest with others about what they don't know. And why do people do this all the time? It's because of social politics, political games, fear, ego, but mostly just fear of reproach. Now, sometimes this is misguided, and despite the culture of the environment, they are just still fearful from potentially their own assertions or assumptions that are sometimes false or sometimes their past experience. But people will pretend like they know everything or pretend they know much more than they do because they're scared of others judging them. Maybe they're an intern at a company and then their manager, they're scared their manager will be like, oh, this guy's not as good as I thought. We shouldn't have made him an intern or made her an intern. And because of that, because you don't voice those things, you get a half-baked learning process because they assume that you know more than you do, and you are basically stunting your own ability to learn. So for me, I've usually often been able to read that room and realize, wow, this culture is accepting of this, and hey, like worst that's going to happen is maybe a few classmates giggle about it, but now I'm open, I'm honest, and now I could tell the teacher, hey, I don't understand this thing at all. And you know, after a few laughs or so, they explain it again. Sometimes you can do it one on one if you're scared to do it in front of the class. And now you get a much better tailored experience. You learn the concept while others are still kind of struggling in silence. Number two, the second tip is really learning in an active way, in an active recall way, if I had to be more specific. A lot of people just kind of read the book or listen to an audiobook or then read their notes again or read the slides again. And studies have shown that this is a least effective method. Now, intuitively, you think, oh, I'm just continuously rereading these slides and notes. I'm going to drill it into my brain. But turns out that's not an effective memorization technique. It's much better to try and write out something off a blank sheet of paper and then use flashcards and try and recreate it from a blank canvas with your mind, and then continuously consult your notes. You're actively retrieving it rather than seeing something that's already on the page. And then the third learning lesson that can really help up level your game is really look at different perspectives, different models, different teaching styles. Now with the internet, there's probably a bunch of different people teaching the same topic in different ways for free or at least at a cheaper price. And because of all these options, you may find a certain method of explaining a topic, a different angle, is much more effective than what you kept trying to hit your head against the wall, trying to learn in a specific way. Why waste hours when you can find a new math teacher, a new person who explains it in a different way, and you're like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. It gets to the same answer, you know. That's how it is. Now, you know, in some cases you have to play by the teacher's game. It's rather ridiculous when you compare it to the real world, but sometimes they want you to solve the problem in a specific procedure. So sometimes you still have to play within the game and find methods within that protocol for you to understand it better, so you can regurgitate it in the way the teacher prefers. But even within that, there are angles and teaching methods of explaining that are better. So seek out the internet, seek out animated versions of that, seek out different ways of explaining that content. So that's it. If you want more on the art of learning how to learn, I have a whole course on that. It's in the description. You could also hold out to Black Friday, where I may decide to